Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you're joining us from. Welcome to the Salesforce Admins webinar, Customize the New Salesforce Mobile App with Lightning App Builder. My name is Mark Baseman, and I'm a Senior Admin Evangelist at Salesforce. And with me today is Michael Gonzalez, Senior Director and Product Manager at Salesforce.
Great, happy to join you today. I have some really exciting things to share with you. I'm going to get a sneak peek of what's coming here in winter, so I'm glad you're here to join us.
Thanks, Michael. So it wouldn't be a Salesforce webinar without our forward-looking statement. Please make your purchasing decisions based only on products and services that are currently available. Almost this entire webinar is forward-looking statements, so just bear that in mind. Thanks. Please make sure to connect with us. We are on social media, Twitter at Salesforce Admins No I. You can connect with us and other awesome admins using the hashtag AwesomeAdmin. We're on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube as Salesforce Admins. And don't forget about our website, admin.salesforce.com. And if you hurry, you have 2 more days to submit to the admin track at Dreamforce. All the details are at admin.salesforce.com and on Twitter. Yes, this webinar is being recorded. The video and the recap will be posted at the bit.ly URL shown here, and it will also be posted in our admin webinar group in the Trailblazer community. So if you have questions throughout this webinar, you can join the admin webinar group in the Trailblazer community. So go ahead and post your questions there. I'll be in there and Michael will be in there as well. And time permitting, we'll answer a couple of those questions live on the webinar today. So let's talk about what we're going to talk about today. So we're going to go through an overview of the Lightning experience on mobile. We're going to talk about customizing with the Lightning App Builder. We'll talk about how to set up mobile and roll it out. And then we'll go over some resources, and again, time permitting, get into that Q&A. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Michael to take it away. Michael, go for it.
Thanks, Mark. So yes, we have some mega updates on mobile to share with you today. So we are going to take a look at a demo. We are going to see the App Builder live and how you use that for customization for mobile. So really excited to share that with you. So let's talk a little bit about what we're delivering here in this winter release. So it really is bringing Lightning experience to mobile. So all the goodness you have a Lightning experience on the desktop, the upgraded user experience with Lightning apps and navigation. Yes, it's going to be awesome because you're going to be able to have more than one application on your mobile device. Pretty awesome. All the great work that we've done with components and the great work that you or your developers have done too with components, those will all be made available for Lightning on the mobile device. And then the customization tools that you love, the point and click solution that the Lightning App Builder delivers also will be made available. So now you can go ahead and build apps that are going to work across desktop and mobile with clicks, not code. So let's talk a little bit about what this is. We're going to, like I said, spend a lot of time in a demo today, but just at a high level, what's the out-of-the-box experience? So first thing to note is you're going to want to make sure that you're always on the most recent version of the Salesforce mobile app. So go to the App Store on your iOS device or go to Google Play and make sure you install the latest, greatest version. That's going to be what provides all the features and the functionality that you have. Also, just from an admin standpoint, if your users are on the latest version, it's going to make just the overall maintenance and troubleshooting a lot easier for you, right? The other thing to mention is that our mobile navigation items will be moved to the rightmost tab. So we'll take a look at that and we'll show you what that looks like. And the features that you have on Lightning on desktop also come to the mobile device. So things like favorites, search, notifications, they're all easier to access than they have been before on a mobile device. And a lot of the carryover functionality you have from desktop now is made available on the mobile app. And like I mentioned, this is a huge release because everything that we've been able to do with Lightning in terms of having different apps, different record pages for those apps, components that are loaded on the record pages, really comes down on the mobile device. So instead of having that one single navigation that you configure within setup, now you'll be able to configure multiple Lightning apps. You'll have access to more than one on the mobile device. So it's great because it's the same apps, the same way you've configured the navigation, available both desktop and mobile. So now they're converged. So it's going to be a lot easier to manage and deploy these things. And it all comes together here with the Lightning App Builder. So really important for us at Salesforce that we deliver these point and click tools to be able to give you the power and the flexibility to create your own apps and customize them. So the App Builder, it's our WYSIWYG tool. If you're not familiar with it, what you see is what you get. It takes all the guesswork out of building out brand new interfaces. So things that you used to have to do in code in Salesforce Classic, primarily with Visualforce, you can take care of a lot of those use cases now with the App Builder and its point and click functionality. And what makes it even more awesome now is this release is that you have the ability to create not only these desktop experiences like you've been doing in production for a while now, but also be able to create the mobile experience as well. So you'll be able to see it, preview it, and deploy it all with a few clicks. And you'll have the record page assignment, the stuff that you're familiar with, and then finally component visibility rules. So this makes the pages dynamic. So you can set a rule in a component. You can decide as the admin when that component displays, whether it's based off of something from record information, whether it's based off of the permission of the user. And now with the new Lightning experience coming to the mobile device, you'll be able to set the visibility rules by the device type. So if you don't want that component to show up on desktop or mobile, you'll have the flexibility to configure that. We'll take a look at that in a moment here. And then one big thing that we did here is we know that what I'm going to show you is a lot of new capabilities. So it's going to be overwhelming at first. Don't worry, we've got your back. We've got a brand new quick start experience that's going to help you get through and understand in detail what the new mobile app does, how Lightning Experience is going to work on it. And we've got some great tools to help your upgrade from the current mobile experience to the new one. So things like being able to upgrade apps and record pages, and even giving you feedback on how you design those things. So we'll take a look at the quick start here in a moment. But we're excited that we have this new place for you to be able to go in and learn more, get a lot of information, get you help to set up and configure this. So with that, let's go ahead and dive into a demo. So we're gonna have a lot of demo today. Really happy we're gonna share this with you. I was just telling the group beforehand that this is probably the first time that people externally are gonna be able to get to see the winter release. So I'm really excited that you joined us today. Hopefully you really like what we're delivering here. So with that, I'm going to switch over and I'm going to start in setup. So let's go to that new mobile app quick start. So within Lightning setup, you'll see here, it's the third option down and below, mobile app quick start. So let me go ahead and click it. And here's that same setup page you saw in the slide that I shared with you. So the new mobile app quick start will give you information about what this is, about what some of the advantages are over the previous mobile experiences, and is going to give you all the information you need to help get going. Next up, you'll have a new Salesforce mobile app area. So we're a little early here. We're going to have a nice video that's going to be a really quick recap of what all the capabilities are. There's even a link to a Trailhead module here as well. So this is going to be your starting point. So when you go in, you get your sandbox upgraded to the Winter 20 release. Start here, take a look at this. We've enumerated these just to help you understand kind of like the succession of the steps that you want to go and perform in order to get ready. So that overview video is going to be there. The next one is this option to upgrade admin tools. So here's how we have decided to roll this out to you. So we're going to give you, as the admin, the power to roll this out on your own. So it's essentially going to be an opt-in experience. So the capability is GA. And step 2 here is once you've gone ahead and you've viewed the video and you've learned everything about the app, you would go ahead and enable this as an org pref for your org. And this will give you access to the app builder, to the design, what we call the design time experience, to be able to view these the pages and help and start building these things out. So this is the enablement and you have control over it. So we're not going to just enable it for everyone right out of the box. You have the power to choose and decide when to enable this. And we hope that you will pick it up early and start building these experiences really quickly. The next one is the deployment. So step 3 is very critical, upgrading your users. So the way you're going to be able to control this is not only to enable it for your org, but then there's also a new Salesforce mobile app permission that you can add to your permission sets that will give your users access to it. So if you want to do this in staged rollouts, there's certain groups within your organization that you feel are ready to go. You can start with them, assign the permission to that perm set, and deploy it that way. So we're giving you a lot of flexibility in how to roll this out. And the next area right here, just enabling the customization. So we'll have a special version of the optimizer report. one of the things that I've heard feedback on is that I've built my desktop experience. I think it looks great. I know mobile is coming. I'm worried about how that desktop page is going to look on mobile. So I want to make sure that you guys give me as much help as possible. So we're going to give you a special version of the Optimizer report. It's going to go through your existing pages that you have published, and we're going to give you feedback on what we think you need to go ahead and address to make it a little bit more mobile friendly. So we'll have some great information in there that's going to be available post Sandbox rollout. I think we are going to try to get some content even earlier on, especially for those of you who are interested in the current pilot. Next step is updating your Lightning apps for mobile. So we really want to make it as easy as possible for you to be able to upgrade your apps. So your Lightning apps you've gone through, you've created them from desktop, and we're not going to auto enable them for you. So you're going to have to do a little bit of work. This gives you a chance to go in and look at your apps before you enable them for the new Salesforce mobile app. We even made it easy, so you can do it on a one-by-one basis, and I'll show you what that looks like in a moment here. But we even added a tool that goes through and looks at all the Lightning apps you have in there, and then with a single click, you can go ahead and update them if you're comfortable with doing that. We have a similar capability here for your record pages as well. So we know that you've gone through, you've created a lot of record pages, you've enabled them for desktop. We built our framework to be able to have the same page available on both desktop and mobile. But the hope is that you can use the great dynamic visibility feature to control which components show up. So you only end up having to manage one page across both experiences. It's going to save a lot of time. It's more efficient. There's less metadata to manage, and we will give you the option here to go ahead and do an upgrade of all those pages and make them available for mobile as well. So you go ahead, and all it does is actually just update the assignment. So it'll make the assignment available for both desktop and phone. I'll show you what that looks like when if we do a one-off assignment. Beyond that, we have a few extra tools that we'll go ahead and give you, navigation menu, so you can go in and learn a little bit more about that, and other links to other areas of help. So with that, let's go ahead and take a look at this. So I have this app. It's a tracker app for my fictitious car company, Electron Motors, and what I want to do is I want to go ahead and make this available for mobile. And I want to go ahead and add some customizations to a page that will help optimize the mobile experience for my users. And so let's go ahead and take a look at how to do that. So step one, let's make that app available for mobile. So let's go into the app manager. And I'll go ahead and I'll type ahead here. And that tracker app, so app number 31 down here at the bottom. Let's go ahead and hit edit. And what that does is that opens it up in Lightning App Builder. So you get here to the app settings area and app options. So now you have a couple of options here for supported form factors. So this is going to make the app, the tracker app, available for both desktop and phone. So let me go ahead and pick that option. By default, it's desktop because that's how it was in production. That's my custom app. Now we have desktop and phone. And boom, that was easy, right? So really quick, easy way to go ahead and make that available for the mobile device. Now, what about the pages that I have for my custom tracker app? What about the pages that I've associated to an app, and I've assigned it by app and by the object? So let's go ahead and take a look at what that experience is going to look like. Go through, view that page on mobile, and maybe even make some enhancements for it. So I have my charging station record page here. I'm going to go ahead, go into the top, and hit Edit Page. And that opens it up inside of Lightning App Builder. And you can see it's our WYSIWYG tool, so what you see is what you get. Takes all the guesswork out of what this is going to look like. You know the mobile, you know what the desktop view of it looks like. You know, you've seen it for many releases now. But now we've got this great new option here, phone. So I'm going to go ahead and switch it to phone, and now you get the phone view of this. So we made some really big enhancements here that I'm going to call out just on the components. So I'm going to go ahead and do that one more time. And I want you just to pay attention to a couple of things. So it's not magic, it's the Lightning component framework that we have that allows you to build both responsive and adaptive components. And I'm gonna go ahead and do this again. So I've got my highlights panel up on top, path down below, tabs with related details and news, activity and chatter on this side. And let's go ahead and see what happens. So we went ahead, we have the information that now we're going to render this on mobile. We're passing that into these components. And the components know now, hey, now that I'm on this device, I have a narrower region. And so let me go ahead and let's change up the experience and let's make it a more efficient and better experience that's optimized for mobile. So for example, the highlights panel, the default one that we have on the top, now on the mobile device here shows more fields. So you can show up to 10 fields from the compact layout right here within the highlights panel. So there's more detailed information right there on initial load. So the great part about this is, since you can add more details, you might find that if you're adding more fields to this, that you don't need to add a lot, or you don't need to have the deep record detail component out on the initial load of the page. So you can go ahead and put that in another area. You can see the path component here has gone ahead and it's changed up. So now it's optimized for touch right here in this area. And down below, I have these other great, the components. So the tabs components have adapted, and now they've turned into drill-ins. So overall, this helps with the user experience, so people don't have to worry about hitting different tabs and having trouble with touch targets. So the drill-in experience helps alleviate some of that pain. Also, for performance reasons, when you go ahead and you have them with inside these drill-in experiences, you can have the components load after the fact. So your initial load will be a little bit more snappy. So I'll go ahead and I'll click into related, and you can see my related lists are inside of here. So once again, we have this type of drill-in experience with it. You can see this one right here. So it's pretty interesting. The out-of-the-box page for this particular object has this potential duplicates component on there. Now, the component developer decided to not make it available for mobile. So we put a placeholder here to let you know that it only supports the desktop form factor. It's still available there in the mobile because it is the same page. So we want you to be aware of that when you're making changes to things, that it's the same page across both. But in the runtime, or when the end user sees this page, they will not see that particular placeholder. So I'll go ahead and show you that in a moment here. So I'll click through and I'll show you details. The great thing about details is we made some really important enhancements to it. So we'll load 20 fields at a time now. So you don't have to sit there and wait for the entire record detail to load. So it'll load 20 at a time, and then you'll hit view more, and that'll bring up the next 20 and the next 20. So we've made a really big enhancement to that one as well. Now, one of the features that I mentioned is the dynamic visibility feature. So this is an awesome feature. It helps make things dynamic. I want to use the same page across both desktop and mobile, but I do want a mobile experience to be a little bit different. I really want it to only vary by a single component. I can do this by either creating an entirely new page for mobile and then having to manage that separately, or I can go ahead and add a visibility role to that component that's going to differ from the desktop experience. So I've got this component here, and let's say that I'm on this charging station object. I want a single click way to be able to summon a car to come and pick me up. So I've got this get there custom lightning component. And what I want to do is I want to add a visibility filter to it. So I'm going to click here. So visibility rules, if you're not familiar with it, it's available for any component type, standard and custom. Even components from the App Exchange can have visibility rules on them. And so I have the option to create a rule from a record field. So if I wanted to say, that my, case, if I'm on the case object, for example, and the case severity is high, I can put a custom component there that really calls that out, and it's very easy for the case agent to find. In this case, I've got this charging station one. I want a device because I think that summoning a car is a really great use case for mobile, maybe not the most valuable thing for desktop. All I need to do is pick this option called device, hit phone. So it says form factor equal to phone, hit done. You can see I've got my visibility icon there. And let's hit save and activate. So I've already gone ahead, and since this was a custom page that I created before, I've gone ahead and I've already set it for the desktop and phone form factors. But I do want to show you the option. Let's say that, for example, this is really specific for that tracker app that I've got. So I can hit tracker, and you can see here, now we've exposed these form factor options. So desktop and phone, desktop or phone, meaning that if I just pick the individual instances of the individual choices, I would have one page for desktop and one page for phone. So that's that workaround. If you really have a use case where they really need to be different pages, you could go ahead and do it this way, but the default is desktop and phone. We really think that's going to be the best experience, since we find oftentimes that the differences between the mobile and the desktop versions of the page really aren't high enough to really justify separate pages. So let's go ahead and take a look. So I'm going to go ahead and hit back. Then I've gone ahead and saved it. And that's going to take me back out to the desktop experience. Now you can see that desktop experience looks exactly like it did when I started, because the only change I made was something that I targeted for mobile. But now let's take a look at the mobile app. So let's go ahead and take a look at this side by side. So I'm going to go ahead and shrink my window here. Got a little bit of demo magic here with QuickTime. And I've got the new Salesforce mobile app here. So we're going to go ahead and load it. So you can see right off the bat, this is my experience. So I've gone ahead and was already accessing Chatter beforehand, but let's go back to this. Let's go to the menu. So if I go to the lower right of the screen, and with my big phone in my hand, I can go ahead and access this really easily. There's that menu button, which is going to bring out the navigation menu. So now you can see here the navigation menu items that I had before, and I've got options for the app launcher and even all items right above it. So it's really great. It's in this era of phones getting bigger and bigger, it's really nice to have that option down below versus having to go up in the top left, like on previous versions of the Salesforce app. So let me go ahead and dismiss this, and let's go to the app launcher. So that very first item that I've got right at the top, app launcher. So you can see here are my apps. So I've got mobile only, which that is essentially the same mobile app experience that you had in the current Salesforce app. So that's going to be supported in this version. We're going to go ahead, and if you have users that are currently using it, that's mobile only is the option for them. So that will give them the current production version of their navigation. But now you've got the additional Lightning apps down below. These are the things that are really you're really going to want to move to as quick as possible. So charging station, sales tracker, which is the app that I went ahead and enabled at the beginning of the demo in the app builder. And I'm going to go ahead and tap it. And you can see here we get another nice prompt. So use the new menu to switch accounts and manage personal settings. So this helps me actually run my demo because it gives me the cues about where to go and click or tap. So here I've got my information about who I am, my profile. If I have multiple orgs that I log into, I can use that change account option. And let's go ahead and select the app launcher. And you've seen that. And let's go ahead and select all items. And so all items, this is similar. So if you've seen the app launcher on desktop, you know that you have access to all the items within the list there. If there's an object that isn't associated with my app or navigation item, I can go ahead and hit it. So I can go ahead and hit cars. If I needed to go and get to opportunities, I can go ahead and use that feature to get there really quickly. So let's go ahead and navigate back. And let's go into the charging station. So let's see the side-by-side experience of what this page looks like. So here's my list view, and let me go ahead and tap in one further. And there we go, there's my charging station. So we have another prompt here, which tells you where the actions are. So they're not on the bottom anymore, they're up on top. I can go ahead and dismiss that. And you see that I've got my Lightning page and how it's being represented within the mobile app on the right. On the left, I got my Lightning page and what it looks like on the desktop on the left. So you can see side by side, it's the same page. We're using the same components, the same metadata, same experience, which is really great. It's going to be really familiar. But now, since I added that visibility rule, you see get there on the mobile app, and you don't see it on the desktop, which is exactly how we configured it. There's path, related, details, news, chatter. We can go ahead and drill in and see what the chatter experience looks like. So we can go ahead and hit back. Let's do the same thing with related. We'll just go into a related list really quick. And you can see as I go in and I drill in, I can get into that case view really quickly, and I can just simply hit the back button and it navigates back out of that tab. And then there's Path. Path is one of my favorite components. I use it a lot for my demos, and I really like to feature it, especially for custom objects. If you get a chance to go and use the new Lightning Object Creator, you can create a custom object and assign a path, associate a path to it. One of the great things is that experience that we have on the mobile device is trying to mimicking the desktop experience as close as possible. So even new features like confetti are all available here within this new experience. It's pretty awesome. One other thing to call out is that's me working with a record. Now, I want to mention that, like I mentioned, the personalization feature. So if I go ahead and I personalize my navigation items, I can go ahead and pin a tab to it. That's something that's supported. So if I do that on the desktop app, I'm going to see that on my Lightning app on mobile because it's the same Lightning app across both. Even favorites, you can see here side by side. So if I set a favorite in the mobile app or in the desktop app, it works in both. So it's really great. So we're really excited to go ahead and share this with you today. Like I said, it is a bit of a sneak peek, and you're going to be able to get your hands on it pretty soon here. with that, let me go and switch back to slides. So what you're probably wondering is, great, like what do I do in order to, what do I need to do in order to roll this out? And so there's a few steps that you can take, and you can really get started as early as now, today, if you haven't already. So here, currently in the summer 19 release, we released the pilot version of this new Salesforce app experience, and it's available in DE orgs. So if you have access to a DE org, you can actually go in, and I'll show you how to set it up in a moment, but you can go in and you can enable this, and you can start playing with it. You can start getting familiar with it today without the need to go and sign up for a pilot. If you want to try it out in your sandbox or even in production, I'll share that with you in a moment, but we'll have a path for you to be able to do that. As always, upgrade your Salesforce mobile app. So first thing you want to do is do that before you go in and try it out. So just keep that in mind. When September comes around, that's when the sandbox release becomes available, and I believe it's scheduled for the first week of September. And so that's when you'll see the new Winter 20 code in there. So all the great functionality you saw with the new components and the updates to the app builder, those will all be available there. And so, step one, upgrade your mobile app. Step two, go into the mobile quick start. So that will be available once the code line drops into the sandbox instances. Run the new optimizer report. So I didn't show it to you. It's not quite ready yet at this point, but you definitely want to run that report, because like I said, it's going to go through, it's going to take a look at the record pages that you've already have customized within Lightning, and it's going to give you feedback on some improvements you can make in order to make sure that page is going to work great both on desktop and on mobile. So one page across both. That optimizer report is really going to help with that. Go through, and then once you go in and do that, you make the updates, fix issues, and test again. Maybe even if you want to roll it out with a small group of users that you like to test things in Sandbox with, go ahead and do that as well. I mean, that's definitely recommended. So if you have the opportunity to do it, go for it. And in October, production release, once again, update the Salesforce mobile app. That's something you see consistently that I'm going to tell you. You definitely want to be on the latest, greatest version, and so do your users. Add the perm to the permission sets. So go ahead and take that new Salesforce mobile app permission, add it to those perm sets to roll it out to your users, and then make a big splash announcement. So there's a lot of really great new capabilities in there. It's going to help make users more productive, especially if they're in Lightning. They'll go ahead and get this new experience, and the fact that it's the same application, same components, it's all seamless, it's going to be great. So let's go ahead and cover some next steps. So like I mentioned, in the current summer release, you can get hands-on with the Lightning experience on mobile feature, and you don't have to go through any sort of sign-up process. So we've made it available for you to go ahead and configure yourself. So step one, go ahead and log in. Go to setup, add the Lightning on mobile permission. So that's what it's called in the summer 19 release, to a permission set. So, and then make sure you upgrade it to the most recent version to the mobile app. Go ahead and update a Lightning app. So go through and do what I did with the app builder, where you go into the app settings and update it to desktop and phone to make it available, and that's it. Then you're done. Then you can really start using this and get an early preview of what the experience is on mobile. If you want to go ahead and try it on in Sandbox, go ahead and join the pilot. So there's the custom link there, sfdc.co/2019 mobile pilots. Go ahead and fill that out, and we'll go ahead and work on getting you set up in a Sandbox. And if you are wanting to do this in production, we're absolutely open to that too. So please let us know. We are more than happy to get this enabled for you and get you up and running as quickly as possible. And some resources to get started. So the Lightning experience for Salesforce mobile app Trailhead Trail is available. So go ahead and check that out. And then I think Mark has another item there. So more mobile. Join us next week for a video day. So
that's right. Leanne Reimel, one of our admin evangelists, will be having a video every day to showcase a new mobile experience, which will be great. I want to wrap up here, but we're just about at time, but I want to ask one question. So if you wouldn't mind advancing to the next slide, Michael. So there are a couple of questions about, will tablets use the phone or desktop layout?
Great question. So for this release, the one coming up in winter, the tablet is going to use the phone layout when you access from the mobile app. What we're seeing is that the strategy for tablets, if you look at what Apple recently announced with the iPad OS, is to go and serve up the desktop version of things. So as far as the roadmap goes, you will see a day when the preferred approach is going to be the desktop version and probably access to Safari, in order to get that experience. So then, the desktop experience you have on your tablet are really going to be the same thing. So great question.
Awesome. All right, we are just about out of time. So just want to point people to, there will be a survey that comes up, the slides will be available, and it will all be in the Bitly admin webinar group. So with that, thank you very much for attending today. Hope you found the content useful, and thank you, Michael. Great presentation.
Great, thank you.